Good evening and welcome to Waking God's Child YouTube channel. And I am finally here with my co host, Candy Nelson. She's coming to you live from Florida. I'm coming to you live from Sealy, flippin' Texas. So, Sealy's kind of a big deal, though, if you have the mattress. Long story short, let's go back to topic. Tonight's topic is about infected realities. And I know that there's probably a few of you out there that could tell us a thing or two about your own infected reality. And you're speaking to two prime suspects here. And what do you say? I got to watch how I say this again because, again, we're censorship's real. Hi, Hottie. I know we went live together. Can you? We actually made it on. Okay, so we have experienced some high strangeness with some of these infected realities and illnesses, and we know that we went through a good portion of 2021 and moving forward with a crown to glory. So you guys know where we're going with this. At this point, right now, Candy, I'm going to tell you we have 6 people on watching live right now. I don't know if you want to go ahead and segue into what your own experience is with some of this, infected reality that a lot of us deal with. And I mean, we've talked about Morgellons before, right? But I was going to see if you wanted to touch base, just like gently touch base on a few things, because I was going to go ahead and get the screen share ready. And hopefully, knock on wood, which don't have any right now because everything's fake.
No? You want me to bust out with my dirty little secret?
That's what I was hoping for. Yeah, she's been hiding this for a while, but it's just no dirty secret. She's amazing. All right, yes, please. And I am going to put you up alone. If I can remember how to do that. They changed the layout on this again. You just go ahead and start. And while you're doing so, I'm going to mess around with this and see what's going on so I can remember how to utilize this correctly again. All right, guys. Candy is getting ready to give you her dirty little secret of her own infected reality.
Oh.
Go ahead, Candy.
Okay, this is a tough one, guys, so bear with me. Okay, so, we all do things when we're younger that we wind up later saying, well, if I would have known then what I know now, I wouldn't have done that. So my dirty little secret is that basically I have breast implants and I got them because I wanted them. It had nothing to do with my husband's choice. This is hard for me to talk about publicly, but hey, it had to come sooner or later. But
Hey, girl, half this world has those, so.
Right? So
me too. Hello.
Well, and we've discussed before about putting things in your body that you're not born with. And that's one of a choice I made at the time. Again, went through a lot of abuse all my life, did without a lot of things, a couple of bad marriages. And then when I did meet Mr. Right, 34 years later, here we are. But I was like, it's like I already got some health problems going on. I wasn't sure what they were. I've been through so much crap all my life, and it's like, I want to do this for me. So I did it. And, as it wasn't long after I got it done, I got a little blemish over here, a red spot, and one right here. And so, I kept thinking maybe it was just like acne or something like that. So I kept putting things on them, trying to pull it out to the surface. Well, it just never happened. Time went on, and so I winded up going to a dermatologist and had it biopsied. And then once it was biopsied, my face just blew up all over. And so also I worked around a lot of chemicals when at that time I was with a company for almost 20 years. And so I wasn't sure what was going on So when the results came back from the biopsy, I went back to the dermatologist and um, I said, "So what is it?" He's like, "I don't have any idea." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't have any idea?" He's like, "Well, I can tell you this is not cancer." I was like, "So what is it?" It's like, "I don't know. I specialize in cancer." I'm like, "Oh." So I'm like, "Oh, so what? Where'd I go from here?" He's like, "I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I specialize in cancer." I'm like, "Oh, dear God."
Hmm.
So then after that, my symptoms, my face just blew up horribly all over. And, I kind of dealt with that. And because I wasn't really getting any answers, went to another dermatologist. And then they came back and they said that I had discoid lupus, which is basically is only the skin portion of lupus. And so they started treating me with um, immunosuppressants and steroids. And as time went on, symptoms got worse. That was another snowball of mess. And anyway, I got into the big pharma, what they call it. I call it pharmacide, but anyway, basically, you're killing yourself with
Yeah,
pharmaceuticals.
pharmacy and yeah, pharmacide. I mean, this is for entertainment purposes only, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
So, anyway, as time went on, I got more and more symptoms, and of course, different things was happening, and I had bone loss, and this and that and the other, and irritable bowel syndrome, and from one condition to another, and back to different specialists, back and forth, all kinds of different drugs to treat the side effects of the drug the from the pharmaceuticals I was taking, and next thing you know, it's just like I was just a snowball mess from HE double hockey sticks,
Right.
So anyway, so I kept going to different specialists for different reasons, and they diagnosed me with everything up underneath the daggum sun. And my final diagnosis that I got was called undifferentiated connective tissue disease. Um, so, which means basically I had so many different autoimmune conditions and connective tissue diseases, they couldn't figure out what the heck was going on with me. So I started doing my own research and found out that if you're diagnosed with a specific autoimmune disease, like lupus or rheumatoid or any other autoimmune disease, basically your chances of survival is not as good as with undifferentiated connective tissue disease or mixed connective tissue disease because with the UCTD or the MCTD, mixed or undifferentiated, you have like various little symptoms from multiples. So it doesn't affect you as badly. What affects you is the pharmaceuticals that they use to treat the conditions, and then therefore that's what makes your symptoms worse. So I eventually got off of all the drugs and just started winging it on my own and was more successful as far as the symptoms go. Well, time went on and I'm seeing all these commercials for the Roundup poisoning and the lawsuits and the glyphosate. And I'm like, man, all my symptoms sound just like that. But yeah, I was exposed to a lot of chemicals when I was working, but not really to Roundup. I mean, so I didn't understand what was going on, but I just knew that all my symptoms seemed to be spot on with glyphosate poisoning. So I had my hair sent to France to have it analyzed for that chemical. Well, it came back positive. We discussed this before for the aminomethylphosphonic acid, which is a component added to the glyphosate to degrade it, but it's more toxic than the glyphosate itself. So I have that chemical, a positive test result for that, but negative for glyphosate. So time goes on, and I'm like, okay, trying to figure out ways to detox, staying off all the scripts. And so then I had heard about breast implant illness. So I started looking into that. And I'm looking and all these women that I'm seeing, and there's actually a couple out on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something. One's called Toxic Tits, and then the other one's called, oh, what is it? Um, maybe just breast implant illness. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. So I'm looking at these different ladies telling their stories about that. And I'm like, holy crap, man. I mean, no wonder
Right.
I'm in the shape
Yeah.
I'm in. It's like between the glyphosate analysis in my hair and the fibers coming out of my body, and then the having the breast implants and all the chemicals I was exposed to, the child abuse, toxic relationships, it's just like, man, I mean, it's like I was like, there was no which way are you gonna turn? It's like, so anyway, so I've been doing everything I can to detox over the years and learning what I can and educating myself. Again, I got off all the prescription drugs. I only take stuff now as needed and only on a temporary basis. When I go to the hospital, I don't let them inject me with a bunch of stuff. I fight them every time I go just to keep toxic drugs out of my body. A lot of the tests that they want to do, x-rays and mammograms and MRIs and all that, always make me like deathly ill. So, I've refused those. Um, just doing everything I can to keep as much out of my body as I can. And I'm like, man, you know what? These implants got to go. So, anyway, I have been working for about the past 3 years trying to figure out how to get these out of my body because it was put in for cosmetic purposes initially. Um, Insurance will not cover it unless you have a rupture or an issue. I can what they call a capsular contraction. Um, and so I don't have that. I've had, went ahead and submitted a test to rule those things out. And, I had to wind up detoxing and get all that crap out of my system whenever I went to these tests.
Right.
So now for the past 2 or 3 years, I've been struggling trying to figure out how to financially afford to do this without causing a burden on our household finances. And you know, it's tough. We all have our challenges when it comes to finances, but and
Yeah, I can relate.
I shopped around and shopped around, and shopped around. And I finally found a physician that I'm comfortable with, which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from me. Um, but the one thing why I chose this particular one is because he acknowledges breast implant illness as an actual real problem for women. He's a plastic surgeon. And so when I was looking over all the different physicians here in Florida, like he's the only one out of all the ones I looked at that actually has on his website breast implant illness and the symptoms of it.
Right.
So that is one of the reasons why I specifically chose him. And again, I was devastated because the price that I saw was $8,500 out of pocket. So I'm like, oh my
Right.
gosh, how am I going to come up with that? So
Can barely buy groceries right now. Like, how? Yeah, exactly. And that's
Mhm.
not the kind of money people have just laying around. I don't even
Yeah.
know what that looks like, actually.
So anyway, Lisa can tell you it's just been breaking my heart because I know what needs to be done medically
Yeah,
to help
a
me
lot of
get
us.
better, and I cannot,
100%.
for the life of me, could not figure out how in the world to come up with $8,500.
Right.
And so I everything, and Lisa and I've talked about this before. No matter what I need, somehow or another, it just seems to fall in my lap, and I'm so blessed with
It's
that.
amazing.
And I was telling her, I've got my mattress that's on my bed is like one of the super thick ones, and my feet dangle off the side of the bed. I have to use my body to force myself up into the bed. So I'm like, man, I got to find me a little thin mattress that I can afford. Well, in the meantime, I'm trying to get supplies together so I can get ready for this surgery and trying to figure out how to pay for the surgery. And so I told her the other day, I saw this thing out on Facebook where this woman was giving him away a regular thin mattress, brand new. It's only been slept on like 2 or 3 times, and because it was a trundle
So
bed.
cool.
And so anyway, I messaged her. I was like, "Is this still available?" She's like, "Yes." I was like, "I need it." So I went and picked it
So
up a
much.
couple of days ago. Yeah, so got a free
Yeah.
mattress to go on my bed so I can get rid of this thick one. So when I do have the surgery, I can actually get into my bed without having to fight with it. What
Right.
else happened just recently? Oh, I've been having problems with my circulation, so I needed to figure out a way to get the blood flowing to my legs. So I've been looking for um, the vibrating leg pumps, and after I picked up the mattress, I came home, went out on the marketplace, and this lady was selling them for it's so I'd have to alternate it, but for $10. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need
Only
that.
you.
So
Right.
picking that
So,
up
Candy,
tomorrow.
I was going to say, I don't know if you saw this. I told her I was going to say, I've been working on a paper, well, a report, because I'm an investigator. That's what I do. But I actually wrote this report on the breast implant illness,
I
basically.
did read
So,
it.
did you get it?
I did
Didn't
read
know if
it,
you saw
yes.
it. Oh, you did? Okay. I wasn't sure if you had read it or not, but I was just going to give them a brief summary here as to, hold on,
No,
what,
let me tell them.
basically,
Let me tell them the
sorry.
biggest news though. So anyway, we've been going back and forth. So a couple weeks ago, I called to schedule my consultation, and when I called to schedule it, she said, "Well, the consult is $120. You have to pay that today, or we cannot give you an appointment." So put that on the credit card, pay that. So I'm talking to her on the phone, and she said, "And the for the explant surgery is going to be $6,000." I was like, 6,000? I was like, where did I get
Excuse me.
8,500? She's like,
What don't I?
I don't know. She's like, but it's only 6,000. I was like, oh, thank you, God.
I'm
So,
telling
you
you,
know,
good Lord is looking out for you.
so anyway, so I have my consultation scheduled for this coming Tuesday. So
So
anyway, big news
awesome.
for
That is
me.
so awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mhm.
Um, sorry guys, I'm trying to navigate this, and that wasn't the paper actually. I had it earlier, but Candy, I'm so happy for you. And I think a lot of us, including myself, many people could benefit from that because I mean, when you have something foreign inside your body, now keeping in mind I have a child that has all sorts of foreign objects, including a mother with a hip. She's had hip replacements. My daughter, has had all sorts of from the car crash when she was 14 with all sorts of metal rods and whatnot. But there's a difference when you're dealing with a sack of fluid per se. I think, something that we don't always think about is that these things, it would be impossible for us to believe, like, okay, they're not gonna, there's no way anything's gonna leak in or leak out. When in fact, it's very possible, and it's so possible that it. Sorry, guys, I'm so trying to get this right. One of these days, let me remove this here for now. What I'm trying to say though is that foreign sac, which obviously that and I don't care, it was silicone, saline, whatever. I've known plenty of people that have had all sorts of replacements, or they went from silicone to saline. And guys, I'm not talking about you unless you did have an augmentation, and then you need to listen too. But I mean, it is good for you to listen because this is important, because this will go for anything that can harbor a foreign substance, and we already know that there's all sorts of toxins and toxicities all around us. Why do you think you see so many detox commercials on television? I mean, it's not like because they just want you to go have diarrhea all day. I mean, because that's so fun. Who doesn't want to do that? But I mean, it's for a reason. They're very much and very clearly, there's heavy metals, there's fungal components. Well, the implant bags, whether it be saline or silicone or whatever, it doesn't matter. Nothing is ever foolproof. It's just not foolproof. And when you're already sick with something like Morgellons or Lyme disease or fibromyalgia or the C word or all of these new strange emerging illnesses, it's going to seep in eventually. It's going to find its way in. And you got to remember, we're talking nanoparticulates with much of this, like nanometers, like nano, so tiny you can't imagine. And the bags are enveloping not only just the fluid, but by the time that the nanoparticulates get in there and the heavy metals, you got yourself a flipping cocktail of fungal gumbo. I mean, and if people are getting sicker, I mean, it's not like we're not already sick. I mean, everyone's struggling with the brain fog and the fatigue and skin conditions and also heart palpitations, just things that they didn't have before, struggling to breathe. So I mean, this doesn't necessarily, we're just not focusing right on that. But the reason that we point to this is because that's what Candy's trying to say. She's in a group that they're clearly showing these elements in there, and it's making people super, not just sick, but sicker. So when you're already in a fragile health condition, it's hard to know what we're thinking when we do things. Like she said, we're young, right? When we're young, we're just like, man, I'd like to look good in my bikini, or I'd like to have, a fuller bust or whatever. But hindsight at the end of the day, but these emerging illnesses, they're no joke. They are no joke.
Well, and
Right?
I got to tell you something. I got to tell you something that's funny though. So, right when I decided I wanted to do that, my husband was like, "You don't need to do this." It's like,
He
dude,
likes
look.
boobs, George.
No, I was like, dude, look, I got like 2-finger tits. Okay, you can't even find it in the dark.
This is for entertainment purposes only. I'll never forget the night George walks by and he didn't know you're on podcast. He's like, I like boobs. he's precious. He's so precious. I just love him.
I told him, I
I'm
said,
sorry.
I said, honestly, I said, if the shoe was on the other foot and your
What would you
anatomy was like small enough where it didn't serve its purpose, then wouldn't you want to do something about it if you could?
I mean, I'm thinking he probably would, but he just likes boobs, Candy. Like he'll get over it, but he's got Candy, and that's the most important thing. But yeah, I mean, guys. So I mean, this thing it goes deep, more than 2 fingers or whatever you just said. It goes much deeper than that.
I was like, you
That
can't
was
even find them in the dark. You got to have the lights on to be able to find them.
Wait, hold on. I think I got this because this is like what I used to do. Wait, hold on. Where are we at? Oh, there you is. You got 2. Who knew?
Hey, where's a good microscope when you need one, right?
Yeah, this is like whoop, out the window. All right. You got to be able to laugh and joke about things in life because things aren't getting any more strange or less strange, and they're intense. And if you can't laugh, sorry, Candy, I'm not going to get that. Not only just the words, but the vision out of my head. That's scar. I think I have permanent brain damage right now, brain damage. That was good. I needed that. Yeah, kind of that what she said. But I mean, she's right. And when there's a will, there's a way. And this woman, she's always been so capable. Somehow it just because God sees good people, and like I've told her, this is why she finds the things and finds the means, and things happen because he knows his people. He knows good deeds, and he knows that he is going to bless those people with the things that they need and they ask for. And when you're trusting in him, and when we talked about this earlier too, Candy, when you get to a point where, when you're so sick, and it's such a strange thing, and the world treats you badly, and you're not loco in the cabeza or anywhere else for that matter, but the boobs. But I mean, it's a spiritual battle like no other. It really truly is, because not only are you battling the fact that you're very sick, you're hurting, you're struggling, you're trying to get through the day, and it's to a point where it's taken everything you have, and you're quite literally watching your body fall to pieces. But at the same time, you're watching every single person that you ever loved, that was in your life at one time, just drop off and be like, Felicia, you present a problem now because everyone thinks you're crazy. I don't want no part of it. And what people fail to remember is that there was a time when Lyme disease people were considered loco in the cabeza, as well as fibromyalgia, where everyone knows that's chronic pain and fatigue, and then you put in Morgellons there, which is a little bit of every single bit of that, with the chronic migraines and the fibromyalgia and the brain fog and the lacerations and the ulcers of the skin inside and out, and biofilm buildup, and you're constantly battling these graphene demonic particles that not only did they destroy your life, but they destroyed your body and what you once were, and you get treated like poop on top of that. I caught myself. I'm so proud of myself right there, because I almost said the other poop word on live TV. Sorry, God. But for real, and just for entertainment purposes only, internet and algorithm, because you suck, kind of, you really do.
Well, and let me tell you, it's important to mention this, okay? If any of you out there that are listening to this that have implants, consider having them explanted. Just know that not every surgeon is going to do it properly. The capsule,
just like they don't put them in properly all the time.
Yeah. The capsule itself has to be removed as well. And a lot of times they'll just go in and take out the implant itself, but leave the scar tissue. Well, that scar tissue has absorbed toxins and things over the years from the implant. So if you don't have that capsule removed with it, and like the group I'm in, the doctors actually agree to show the pictures of the implants and the scar tissue that they removed. And they send you pictures, and you know that they got it all. So again, you just can't go to any surgeon. You have to educate yourself. You have to know what you're looking for, demand, that this is the way this needs to be done. And if they can't live up to those, find you another one, okay? Do not settle.
Or be like me and just don't go. I'm just kidding. I did not mean that. I mean, because obviously and clearly there are...
In this circumstance, this needs to happen. So, yeah, this is a doctor I need to go to, and I'm bound and determined I'm getting there.
And I'm proud of you, because you have went through everything possible to get there, and you were not taking no for an answer. And that's what I love about you. You have this complete passion for not only just living, but getting things done, come hell or high water. It don't matter, doctor, what you say. This is how it's going to be. I think she's amazing. Like, she will school a doctor in 2.3 seconds, and most of the time they're left with their jaws on the floor, because she says it with not just conviction, but full knowledge, because she struggled with, especially the in particular illness of Morgellons syndrome, is what I think. Morgellons, whatever you want to say. I don't even think it's a thing. I think it's all one big thing, as I've said. But I mean, this woman's like much longer than most people had, like before anyone was even uttering the word with the M word. You know what I mean? She's been with it that long, and she has convinced these doctors with dedication, knowledge, and conviction. And she has left them speechless, which as they should be, because you never stop learning. And I don't know what on God's green earth ever made our textbooks or medical textbooks never change. They're always the same. Nothing's changed. like, okay, we'll admit fibromyalgia now, but we still don't know much about it. Just like you don't know much about your ancient history and everything else, or actually, I think you know it all, but there's an agenda at hand. Yes, I said that out loud because we are just doing some live action role playing algorithm for entertainment purposes only. Because that's what we do, just having fun hanging out because, nobody's toying with our lives. Said nobody ever, bobblehead. So, but I mean, true story ever. It is what it is. And people, we get to a point where we feel sad for people that treat us like crap because what they don't understand is you can't break us. We were put through this battle, put to the test, and we only got stronger. But what we're sad about is that you're battling all of this too, and you don't even realize it because what goes down from the air must go in to the body, so to speak. It's not what goes up must come down. Well, that too. But I mean, contamination is contamination, and heavy metals and toxins and particles and nanoparticulates and what they say, microplastics or whatever they want to say, it doesn't matter because it all exists. Where do you think that's going? You think it's going, to like on a trip to the Netherlands, or you think it's going to Asia? And no, it's going in our bates, okay? Because
hey, get this. I recently shared in our neighborhood group about the law that was passed against banning the chemtrails here in Florida. A law was passed, right? So I shared it in our local Facebook group.
And changed
and
though.
some guy comes out there, he's like, some of y'all just didn't learn nothing in school. And
I'm
like,
saying,
like, okay, I didn't make the law, buddy. Okay. It's like there wouldn't be a law in place if it was not a problem.
I mean, if you guys are seeing the streaks in the sky and they're not dissipating and they're there for hours, hello, that is not condensation.
And there's
boil water, they turn it off, that's gone.
Now there's a law, but you're going to tell me I need to go back to school? I swear, I wanted to go back and say to him, I wanted to go back and say to him, well, you know what? Congratulations. I'm glad you indoctrinated. And
that's exactly what it's been about the entire time. Indoctrination.
I don't want to be ugly. I don't want to be ugly with anybody, but I just want to tell you,
I want them to wake up
on your indoctrination, dude.
And it's not even being ugly. It's like we're at crunch time. Like, you need to wake up. There is no more messing around. I'm not going to sit here, be meek, feeble, and be like, oh, but it's real. Don't yell at me. No, it's freaking real. You feel it. I know you got brain fog like there's no tomorrow. And because you're responding like you do, that's how you know it's real, because you are an indoctrinated little soldier and you need to never go back to school again. In fact, learn how to, work the muscle between the ears out again, because it would be very beneficial for freaking all of us. I am just saying for entertainment purposes only.
I'm still considering going back out there and replying, but I'm like, I just don't want to argue with anybody.
We're at crunch time. People need to wake up. I tried to do it gently for so long. I tried to do it nicely and softly, and there's still ways to do it with a tactfulness and compassion and heart. But I mean, Jesus ain't waiting, guys. When he said he's coming, he's coming. He said, be ready. So our job is to be ready and to scream it from the mountaintops. That's what we're doing. And
they just messed up your audio bad. Your audio's messed up really bad right now.
I said Jesus. I said the name Jesus Christ. And that is when you will experience that, because for those of you that don't know, this is Satan's world.
They messing with you.
Who knew? I know, right? I did. I knew. And so you're going to experience some electronic harassment all day long when you mention Jesus Christ or with topics like these. And if you guys, that's a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. That's no way. Just like your chemtrails and your contrails, con artist trails in your sky every day, not dissipating. Make a tic-tac-toe 3 in a row and hang the man, because they are. Yeah, I no more gentleness. If I am doing this with all the love in the world, Candy's doing it with all the love and compassion in the world, but it's crunch time. It is crunch time, and you either listen or you don't. Right out though, real quick.
They're not gonna make laws if it's a conspiracy theory. Guess what? There's some fact there. They wouldn't be making laws.
And the funny thing is, people are actually a lot that I talk to have come around to that. They finally see it. I'm like, oh yeah, after all the hell you put me through, or my dad's like, take her away. She thinks those planes are poisoning us. And I'm like, Dad, I never said all the planes are. That's a little far-fetched. But what I did say is those freaking lines are not dissipating at all. End of story. Condensation means what? It's associated with evaporation. I did go to school.
Did you show him that the Florida passed a law
I
banning
could
them?
show him a million things, but this is what, not just him, most people that are indoctrinated, good, obedient little soldiers, but I love that man to death and I won't stop trying. But this is what happens when you say, look, I wrote this paper. Look, I made this video. Look, I just want to talk to you. I just need you to hear me. It doesn't matter if you're stern, gentle, soft, kind, how you present it. I'm not, no, you can't make me, no, not gonna do it, I did not, I'm not, I mean, literally you see like the eyes of, and the characteristics of a toddler with grown-ass as people. I gotta watch myself. Censorship. But I mean, that is the mindset, and that's because they were taught, like, oh my gosh, you heard the word conspiracy? You heard conspiracy. You heard that word too. Oh, good Lord, that's a bad word. Conspiracy. She's a conspiracy tinfoil hat. Damn straight. Damn straight. And you might want to get you one of those. And by the way, conspiracy is not a bad word. If you call me a theorist, though, I'm going to be a little offended because I am a realist, and it's not a theory. It's your freaking truth, folks. And I mean, I'm not even offensive to me anymore. I'm sad. We're sad because we don't want to see you go through anything worse than what's still coming and we haven't even seen yet. And we would rather see you be ready, awake, and aware and capable than be blindsided and don't say we didn't tell you. So that's, I don't want to hear that even. I just want to help. We want to help. We've been trying. You think we just want to put ourselves on blast out here for you guys to be like, pulverize them, crucify them, throw rocks, just go ahead and stone them. I know someone else who went through a lot of that. You guys know who I'm talking? Anyone? If you mention the name, you're gonna catch some electronic harassment. But that's nothing compared to what that man went through. But we were also told, and it was written, that you all would do that to us. So surprise! Like, we're not shocked. We're not shocked. We're not shocked. We were told you were gonna act like buttholes. Sorry, God, that wasn't nice. But it's true. Like when you're talking nonsense out the South End, and I'm not going to tiptoe around it anymore, right? I can't. We don't have time for that. So, by the way, if you wonder what the background noise is, it's my beautiful daughter, Shyla, who's home right now. And I played the water bottle game with them, tied it to the ceiling fan earlier, and blindfolded them and let that ceiling fan go. And they had to just figure out when to duck it. She got bopped a lot. You talk about like self-sufficient punishment right there. That was sorry, I had to laugh a little because we could still laugh through the storms, and we could still cry in the rain, and we could still smile at the moments that we're given, because that's what we should do. Count your blessings, folks. Name them one by one. And I was going to show a couple of photos, and not, just with the breast implant illness, but we're talking like people such as us, where we woke up one day and our world's changed and we were really, really sick, like deathly ill, and where you could physically look at us and know we were deathly ill, but yet people would still be denying we were ill and say, oh, you're doing that to yourself. Or doctors would be like, delusional parasitosis. Well, I do have a delusional couple of pairs of toes because they're not the same length, but that's not the parasitoses that we're talking about. Because they talk about the symptoms are, right, Kendi? It's fibers, it's strange sensations of crawling under your skin, because it is. And the second,
non-healing lesions. Non-healing lesions.
And they're trigger words. And I mean, you can walk in and just say two of those symptoms, and not even in that in particular order. And that doctor is walking out the office, come back in, and you got a script for like the strongest psychiatric drugs you could ever imagine. Like, you might as well just be a dead zombie because you're drooling, probably pooping your pants after that because you cannot function. And that's where they want you. And that's what these doctors are trained to do because they have to go by code. They cannot color outside their lines either, just like teachers can't color outside their curriculum. Haven't you guys figured that out yet? Nobody can seemingly, archaeologists, geologists, they can't color outside just a few in particular. Like, they have to stay within the navigational beakers because it is controlled by whom? Come on, guys, take a guess. I know some of you went to Sunday school. Who's it controlled by? You think it was a joke? Ain't no joke. It's no joke. No joke.
Your gooberman. Your
What's
gooberman.
that? The gooberman. The
gooberman.
gooberman did it. It's all them fault. So yeah, exactly. But with that said, I'm going to try to go ahead and these two lovely young ladies. They did you see? Aren't they precious? Actually, I think that they're pretty precious. I'm counting my blessings just having them here right now. So I'm going to go ahead and show some of these photos that we did to ourselves, which how in the heck that would ever even be possible? And how in the heck any of you out there believed someone that told you that when you could clearly look at us and see we're dying. We were dying. We had to
You know what?
literally
You know
let
what?
the Lord fix us.
That's why it was important for me to be able to heal my own issues as far as my skin goes. Because when I went to my doctor for the first time, I said, you know what? I said, look at my leg. You see anything wrong with it? He's like, no. I said, nobody would do that to themselves just
So
to show you they can fix themselves. Okay?
exactly.
Nobody.
And nobody wants to be a glutton for punishment. Nobody would, like, that's the last thing I would ever even think of to get attention, right? But I mean, on top of that, I'm a female. I like to be pretty. I like to have that, or used to, I should say. But I mean, think about it. Like, nobody wants to present themselves in the worst possible way. Like, I got bugs. I got this. I got fibers. I got weird stuff. Nobody does that. You guys use just all you had to do ever for once, anytime. Just use the noggin within the ear navigational beakers. That would be precious. Work that little muscle out, time or two, 5 or forever, if you wouldn't mind, because it's really offensive. just knowing what's going to come out of your mouth most of the time. But okay, back to this. I'm trying to share. Almost rhymed. Gotta get that out of the way. So I'm just gonna show you just a few things here. I'm gonna start with this was Candy's arm, for instance. And Candy, I'll let you go ahead and elaborate on the story. I'm gonna make it a little bigger here. But you can elaborate and tell them, what was going on. And how could you do this to yourself, Candy? I cannot believe. Oh, woe is me. That's self-inflicted delusional right there. Sure, Doc. Sure, Doc. You need some Googles or something, googly eyes, glasses. I might have went a little too large there, so moving it down back to where I was. There's no happy medium with this for some reason, but can you guys see that okay, or is it sharing yet? It's probably not sharing, is it?
Nope, not seeing nothing.
Sharing is sharing, guys. Hold on. I care, and I'm sharing. Ain't no doctor ever gonna shut this girl up. In fact, it only got me louder, and continually louder, because when you realize that the world is messed up in a very deep and evil way, that's when you know how real God is and how very real Satan was, in fact, the ruler here, and how very lost everybody is. All right, let's see. Got it now, maybe? Yeah, hopefully. Oh, went back to small size. I'm going to try to bring it up again a little bit here. And voila. So, yeah, how do you inflict that on oneself with the little fibers coming right out the arm there? Go ahead, Candy, and let your story be yours.
Trying to see. Hold on one second. I'm trying to. All right. I'm looking at the picture. It's just been a while, but I don't know if that's the one that I told you covered my entire arm, and it was probably about, oh my gosh, probably about a half an inch thick.
All over, yeah.
Yeah, it was about a half an inch thick, about maybe a quarter of an inch on the surface, and a quarter of an inch beneath the surface. But
and none of this is real hair. These are these fibers that peek through there, and you can call it crazy all day, but it's true.
It took me over 10 years to heal that lesion. Okay. And it was horrid. So,
And
but
teeth.
I said, I am not taking this sucker to my grave. So
No, nor
I was
and
down in the
nor
field.
should we have to.
Right.
You know, that's the
So,
worst. Like, look at that. That's horrible. Horrible. That's a
uh,
lot of that's and it's so
yeah,
painful, guys.
it's
So
gone.
painful. Let's see if this was one of them here. Trying to remember if this was, and I hope I'm not sharing some ones that I shouldn't. Yeah, this is you, Candy. Here's another one. I
It's
think
hard
one of
for
your
me to,
posts that I had
hard for me
clipped
to
in.
see. There, it's so small. It's hard for me to see it.
Let me try. I'm trying to make it bigger. I don't know why they show it at like 19%, and then I gotta magnify it to. Let's see. So this was an embedded nodule, but you can see clearly this right here and here. This is a fiber. This is not a hair. Hair does not grow out that. There's the nodule she's referring to. And this fiber is called mycelium. It is a fungal component. So shame on us for not knowing what the heck was going on with our bodies and we ever dare said the word. It was like a thread or a fiber because then you're crazy. But when you say mycelium, fungus, because hello, does it not look like a thread or a fiber? Then you're not so crazy, but they still don't want to help you. But yeah,
Well, if
Candy,
you
right?
look,
That was a nodule you said. So
yeah, if you look all around, like in that picture, you can see all the nodules that are beneath the skin. So
yeah,
I had
that's
to
what I
get
was. The
all
first
of
one I
those
pointed.
out.
All of these are nodules right here. All and
Millions
that's a
of
big
them
one.
was in that arm, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's why it took like 10 years to get rid of
One right
them.
in here, you can see still some more of the black the I don't even I call it black goo, the fungal component, the black goo, or these little black dots in there, which you can look at. I will tell you right now, any of you, any and all of you, go get you a skin microscope, and I mean everyone. I don't just mean like, oh, some of you are affected, some of you. I mean everybody. Get you a skin microscope. Go take yourself a gander of skin up close and personal, and go on a little vacation together, get to know each other and get familiar. And like, how you doing? My name's Skin. Well, hello, Skin. You belong to me? Yeah, I do. And you want to know what's going on with me? Yeah, get to know your skin because this stuff is all over you too. And again, you don't have to believe me, but go ahead and just humor us a little. Humor yourself,
Well,
save
and
yourself, by the way.
the funny part, like I said, that one particular spot, there were millions of those little nodules. Right
Yeah,
now, there's one
so
single little
beginning of
nodule
mine.
there. I cannot get that sucker. It's like, but it just reminds me every time I look at that one little nodule, I'm like, oh my God,
It's
like,
yeah, and
so
they're
many of
everywhere
them.
like that. It's
Yeah.
terrifying when you know that your body isn't the body you once knew that you had. Here's another one, Candy, that let me see if I can
It's
bring this
not,
up. This is a
it's not
better one here.
replicating. Yeah, but
What's
it's not replicating. It's just that one little nodule is just like hanging on for dear life, and I can't get it.
and a lot of this stuff though, however, is self-replicating. Hold on, let me see if I can share this here. Uh, okay, nope, I'm sharing it the wrong way. I mean, I'm sharing it with you guys, but that's not. I don't know what I'm saying anymore because I have brain farts and fog. So who knew? I did. I so knew. All right, I've got to try to figure out how to show this like I did the others, but um, no, hates me right now. I'm trying to
I think it
make
needs
it
to
bigger.
come down
Open
a
it.
little
I'm
bit.
trying to open. There we go. Now I can make it bigger. I was like, I know what I'm trying to do. Just my fingers and mouth aren't doing. They're not cooperating right now.
Like, hold
Okay.
your tongue in the right direction. There
Okay.
we go.
Right. So this. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't work. My tongue is actually the muscle that's very well worked out too. So who knew?
I
Brain and
actually,
tongue.
actually have, I actually have a video of those three bundles where the one in the center is like moving and the other two are not. So that right there
Yeah.
shows you it wasn't a fan or it wasn't air. The one in the middle was like a break dance, and the other two was just standing there watching it.
Craziness. Just the things we go through, and they haven't seen craziness yet because I'm getting ready to show them some craziness. Some real craziness, man. Oh, this was one that came out of my arm. Like this, and this fiber was a solid bundle. Just, I don't know if you guys can see that, but apparently it's delusional and self-inflicted. How the hell? Sorry, algorithm. Could you ever possibly self-inflict that? Anybody? Anybody? Because this was about right here. Actually, it was this side, I think. Nope, right here is where that was because it was right there. And you cannot do that to yourself. What is it like? You think I just was like, you know what? Anyone got any bubble gum or something I can just roll up and make a weird little. Use your dang heads. And doctors, I know you're going by code or you lose your medical and practitioner's license. That would be the best thing for you because then you could be a real doctor and not be a licensed practitioner, and you could just heal people. And you'd find that if you didn't have all your toys and all your money, you'd be a better person. I'm just putting a bug in your ear, but what do I know? I know because everyone like me knows when you lose everything and you go through this, that's when you get back up swinging and fighting and living, like really, truly living. And when you learn to appreciate and have compassion and understanding and I still work on that sometimes. Honestly, though, when it comes down to it, I'm the girl sitting here when someone shows me pictures of their bodies and what they're going through. I'll have tears streaming down my face because it is horrid. And it's the most unbearable pain on top of anything else that, I can't even explain. Hold on, I've got to fix this again.
That's what happened to me. I got angry. I was like, this is bull crap, man. Like, I'm not doing this in silence.
Yes, ma'am.
Like, I am not doing this quietly.
And I guess my thing was like, I was on my like you could like these are mild. Like I wanted to show you this too. Once you come down with Morgellons, or not even come down with it because it's not like that, our bodies are spitting the toxins out. So that's like if you get a piercing or a splinter, your bodies will push the foreign object or substance out. So in retrospect, what I've always tried to say, it's a blessing and it's a blessing. When you learn, you grow from it. Worst pain ever. And the treatment is beyond anything I've ever seen. Like, you might as well just shoot me, rip me limb from limb with the treatment that we received is how it feels. It's like that would feel better. But you start to see this on others. And this right here, my friends, this is just a video that I think it was like, what was that show called? Where they, 90 Day Fiance. That's what it was. Let me show you this. Like, I just happened to be like watching that. My daughter had it on one night and I'm just like, what is moving on his neck? And then I knew exactly what it was because it's mycelium and it's obviously that's fungal. A fungus is super intelligent. I believe it's living all beneath our feet. And what do you think your internet's really running off of, folks? Like just throwing that out there, but that's a whole deeper subject. We'll touch on that another time, but just watch this. Just go ahead and just do me a little favor. Just watch this and tell me how you feel after you see this, because it is real. It's real. And this is just a television program. And I'm like, what is that moving on his neck? Because you get an eye for it. You spot it. You're there.
You can clearly see a fiber there.
I haven't hit play yet, but I'm just furious even watching it because the whole world is infected with this. But there you go. They got minds of their own. This is an African American man with his head shaved, white all the way to the scalp. But this is mycelium, and it acts freely on its own. It just is what it is. Doctors who put us away, and people and friends and family that vacated our lives for. How could you do that to yourself? You can't do this to yourself, you morons. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. Look at this little freaking bastard just going nuts like that. And yes, I did call that because that's what that is. That is Satan's little buddy right there. So, ask yourselves these questions like that. How could I do this to myself, folks? This was like kind of in my earlier stages, but I couldn't breathe. My neck was so swelled up. I could not breathe. I was literally dying. And everything, my heart, my mind, my body, everything said, you're dying, Lisa. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not. And I hit my knees and I prayed to Jesus Christ and my Lord. And I said, no. This isn't it. This is not how I go. This is not how I'm going to go. And this is not how any of my family members are going to go. Not if I can help it. And even though, they're the ones that all crucified and vacated my lives, all I've done since then is try to save them. And they're just too blind to see it. It's like, yeah, selfish me all alone over here and just trying to save your mean butt. You're hateful, vacating, obviously conditional, which I don't know what happened to unconditional love, which thought I was raised with, but apparently love is conditional, but not with this girl, because I wouldn't be trying so hard. It ain't for me, that's for sure. I'm still by myself, but I want to save them. But only God can do that. And, the rest part is in the heart and giving it to God. And because it is what it is. It's here. There is not any getting rid of this on the level that you all would think. These are some of my own earlier photos, and I'm not going to, take too much time. And you guys, look at these beautiful, beautiful cirrus clouds. Oh, they're cirrus clouds. I got a name. Yeah, they do. I had to name the freaking fake one something. Or you mean poison, maybe? Yeah, these are what we're talking about. These do not dissipate. Y'all are fools if you think they do. And I mean, I literally laugh when people are like, oh, this is from the airplane. Oh, you're cray. Until you take your lazy butt outside and you sit there in your lawn chair looking straight the H up at it and make sure it goes away before you move. Till you do that, don't tell me that. But after you do that, because you're going to be there pretty much all day and maybe some into the next day, then you might want to come back and change your tune. You will come back and change your tune. I guarantee you. Candies, like Florida's filled with them, like way worse than I've seen. And Bend, Oregon was shockingly filled and full of those. And I was just shocked because that's the high desert. There's not a lot there. And I have my opinions on these too. I don't necessarily think they're coming from airplanes and pilots. We have those. You guys have seen crop dusters. That exists. But sometimes there's nothing in front of those. I don't know any other way to say it. All I can say is don't diss me until you look, because it's pretty easy to look and be patient enough to wait. But like I said, I always got, can't make me. No, I mean, like 4-year-olds, two, because I think a 4-year-old would do a little better than that. And these are just, some of the things that's been collected over the years and things that people don't think about, but are so real without, like, shouldn't even have enough said. Like, people are coming around to that portion. But I'm going to get to, like, this frog here. This frog was one night, got into my parents' basement, and it was clawing at the door, trying to get away. I was like, what is going on? There's a frog in here, right? And this poor little guy had these fibers just springing out of it. And by the time it woke up the next morning, it looked like this. And I'm not going to make that big because it's gruesome, but had nothing left of its skin. And then these just springy fibers coming out. This was my skin at one time. And I'm like, oh, you used tweezers. You did the self-infliction. Really? What the hell? You want me to, like, if I have a Thanksgiving turkey in my freaking arm, you want me to leave that in there? Or corn dog? They're like, no, I can't. It'd be like self-inflicted wounds and stuff if I removed that corn dog from, my arm or the Thanksgiving. I know it shouldn't be there, but if I do remove it with tweezers, by golly, I am delusional as hell. You guys are idiots, doctors. You're assholes and idiots. I'm sorry I said that out loud, but I did mean that. I did. Because you can't inflict this kind of stuff. I was dying. Candy was dying. We were dying. My face was 5 times the size. No, doctors, you're not going to get away with that. You can't self-inflict this stuff. You can't. And wait until I get you to the moving part. You already saw the one moving on the guy there, and you saw Candy's arms and legs, but you ain't seen nothing yet, guys. You ain't seen nothing yet. Not at all. Oh yeah, another one there, just coming straight out. But I've got video upon video that would just blow your mind that these things coming out. Like I said, they are highly intelligent. They will chase your butt around. I am going to make this big because you guys need to see what this mycelium looks like and what it did to this poor little frog and what it's doing to a poor little human as well. All of the humans, at that matter. And I know this is not fear mongering. This is wake up and start now. Now is the time to be detoxing, taking care, cleanse your system of heavy metals. Heavy metal detox as much as you can, because you see this little guy here. All of these were just bursting through his skin. And by the next day, this is what he looked like. Okay. It is what it is. Mycelium is real, folks. Fungus, real, folks. Black goo, pretty real. Nanotechnology, yeah. What do you think these time-release capsules are, or these little roller up your sleevers? We didn't study it for very long, but it's safe, I promise. What are you guys thinking? What were we thinking? We've been taking those
I,
since we were babies.
I saw I saw an ant one time. He was like crawling on my porch rail. He's like looking like he was drunk. So I'm like,
Yeah,
uh,
the
I can wake
zombie
him
ant
up.
zombie virus, which is what we
I can
have.
wake him up, put the scope on him, and that little booger had fibers on him, and he was fighting the fiber off. And it's like I got that on video, and I'm like,
Yeah,
holy crap!
yeah.
The fiber's
It's
coming.
on every living thing and within them as well.
It was so
It's
sad. I was like, that little ant was trying
impossible to
so
know.
hard.
And I know it sounds scary. It is scary. Imagine what we've gone through with you all terrorizing us on top of that, and doctors saying, you know what, die. We don't believe you. Take her away. Put us in a psych house when we're in pain and we're truly dying. And you guys are just like, we don't care. Not listening. La, 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 la. Not doing it. Yeah. That's like
And
crucify. You
and if she
crucify
ain't
us.
crazy, guess what? We're gonna give her some drugs to
And
make her crazy.
make her shut up. That's what that's exactly. Oh, that's one of the hexagons. This is what you would call the graphene. So this is a graphene example. There is what that is. So, and they look like glitter. A lot of times you'd think they were glitter. They're hexagonal. This looks large because it's, obviously zoomed way into, but this is graphene, and this is everything that glitters isn't gold, by the way, folks. But it is coming from yonder. And you guys have heard about a little bit of fogginess lately, a little bit like real thick fog. Seeing black mold grow up your walls outside or inside. The black mold that didn't usually travel that quickly, but now it's just thick everywhere. That black mold, everyone knows fungus is alive. Everyone knows that mold is alive. They have an intelligence to them. And if you don't, like, that's one thing they did teach you that was true in school. FYI, it's pretty easy math, but you got to put on your big girl panties and big boy pants and pull-ups and do a little research. It's not too hard. Nope, you're not going to find everything on Google because, like, why would they put that information? Then you go sue everyone, and then they wouldn't, get their way on anything, and the financial institutions would just go, done. They'd fart right out of here. But I mean, it just takes simple work. There are U.S. patents for every last single bit of this, every last bit of it. There's a patent for it. All you got to do is look. Just put U.S. patent for graphene. U.S. patent for fungal components being used as a biodegradable whoops pawn, because I have to censorship's real again, so I'm got to be careful. Or what about the crowned glory Rona thing with the roller up your sleever, where you were muzzled and put away in your homes and social distancing and all? What about that? Did you take the little cocktail? I'm sure most people did, including my family, which shocked me. But you know what? That's not the point. Like, that's not the point. And I understand a lot of people's reasonings. It was terrifying. But the thing is, we should all be questioning what we put into our body, because we were born with the things, we're equipped with immunities that we would definitely be able to tolerate these illnesses if we didn't have so much of the junk in us. But the junk in us is filled with who knows what, because you didn't make the cocktail, you just accepted it. And again, that goes back to childbirth. And if I could do it all over, I'd never have vaccinated not a single one of my children, nor would I have ever taken a flu shot or a pneumonia shot, which I did. I voluntarily did. But had I known then what I know now, never in a million years would I have let my newborn child go and get poked in the butt before I even got to hold her. I mean, I didn't get a him. Mine were all hers. Like 4 hers to be exact. So like World War IV.
Hey, just want to mention hello to Kim. Hello to Gator
Kim,
Sky.
I didn't even see. I was on a different page looking at the others. Hello, Kim, Gator Sky. I haven't seen you forever. Melinda. Thank you, Candy.
And Hottie. And Hottie.
Hottie in the house. Yep. Hottie's always here, and such a wonderful individual, and so supportive. And Kim, and all of you guys, like we couldn't do it without you. And the more of us that stick together, the more truth that gets spread, and the world needs to be aware because time is ticking, and apparently
Well, in
my
all
body's
honesty, we get so excited about sharing information. It's like sometimes we kind of like overlook the welcome the welcome mat.
I was on the other, I had to go to the share page to change the photos and stuff, so I couldn't even see it. But
Yeah.
no matter what, we don't mean to ever do that if it happens. Candy's right. Like, that's the last thing. And so I noticed last week, you know, when I went and did a recap, we had a Carrie, a Connie, and so there was like 3 C's. And I saw the C's, and my vision's bad anyway, because by the way, your vision will go too with this really quick, along with the nugget upstairs. But I felt so bad because I was trying to thank everyone in the end, and then I missed one of this because they ran together, and my eyes were just, I thought it was the same person, and it wasn't. So my apologies, guys. Nobody sets out to hurt feelings. I'd be insane to even think that. And Candy and I have dealt with our fair share of people getting hurt and being horrible at the end and like terrorizing our worlds afterwards because we forgot to not be human and have to tend to our own needs for once because we're so used to giving, and then it gets expected. And that yes, it's been a long time ago, but just please be patient with us because we are just as human and in the fight as everyone else, but we will always give it our best shot. Yes, for sure. And again, thank you guys, all of you, so much. And Candy, I'm so glad to hear your news. Can't wait to see how this appointment goes. Keep us
Right.
posted. Keep us updated. We're gonna have we'll have an update on that. So, and I don't know about you guys. I'm tired. Candy's tired.
Yeah. It's almost
right.
midnight here, so I'm like, oh.
It is late, man. I feel like I slept 3 hours last night because I was on a surveillance till 2 a.m. Got to bed at 3 a.m. and then back up at 6 a.m. to go right back at it. So I am dragging. Like I can't wait. I can't even say. So love you guys very, very much. You have a blessed weekend. Be safe. Be true to you.
I'm just
and
really thankful we were able to get on tonight because I was like, I could not believe I got right in with no problem after last week.
Good Lord, upstairs was looking. I said a little prayer right before too, and I mean, I need to remember to do that more often because that's when things actually change. Your world change. You watch the world change if you just talk to Jesus Christ. I mean, it really does make huge difference. But yeah, electronic harassment is real. Targeted individuals and the realism of that is so real. Morgellons and all of these strange emerging illnesses and infected realities are super real, and nobody's making any of it up because why the heck would they? There you go. Leave you on that note. All right, guys. Love you. Have a blessed evening.